Hello everyone, welcome back to SBR Pythons. Today we've got a sit-down chat with Karl from KRK Pythons. So I started this series a couple of months ago, just doing one myself sort of thing. The idea or the principle of this is that I just talk to the camera, either myself or with a guest. And today we finally got a guest on. Say finally, the idea really is to try and get and do it in person, but it's not really been feasible with the lockdown measures. So I'm trying it on a webcam using Zoom today with Karl to see how it goes. And if it goes well, maybe I'll get someone else on like this. But hopefully you guys enjoy it. As I say, it's just a sit-down chat. We are just talking about snakes because ultimately that's what we all love. And it's really ironic that I've got Karl on actually because as I mentioned in the first one, part one, it's sort of Karl that gave me the inspiration to do a sit-down chat. Just talking to him on Instagram and just talking about sort of the idea of me just talking to a camera. So it's actually ironic that it's Karl that's going to be the first guest on here, but let's get Karl in and see how this gets on. Obviously we're using a webcam and my mic is from the PC, so it's completely new to me, but hopefully it all comes out okay. You guys will know because you're seeing this. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this. It's really sort of convenient that I've got you on, Karl, because as I mentioned in my first sit-down chat, you're sort of the guy that gave me the inspiration via an Instagram message to just sit down and chat to the camera. So it's really cool to have your first guest. But for anyone that doesn't know Karl, just a little bit of background on you, because obviously not everyone's going to know you. So how did you get into ball pythons or snakes, or do you just keep ball pythons or?
So I've got two bows as well, but they're rescues from a long time ago.
Yeah.
So more it went so much pythons at the beginning. When I was about 9, I went to 10 or 11, might have been around 10. Went to Florida, seeing an eyelash viper, and that was me kind of attached to reptiles. Obviously, come back, done research as a young kid, and realised I couldn't keep exotics.
You can.
I can, but not anything venomous. So started off with corn snakes when I was about 18, but in that time I also worked in the local zoo.
Nice.
So I had the placement there, which unfortunately didn't go as well as I anticipated to do. But that's a whole other story. But I've kept all kinds of reptiles from the age of 18: corn snakes, rat snakes, bosque monitors, bearded dragons, and now I've continued my love with royal pythons because of all the morphs and how every single snake is different.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I've got a fairly similar story in that I also got into it via the corns. I'm sure you know my story and people watching know my story, but I bred the corns with my auntie when I was 13 and I was hooked ever since then. I always say I had an epiphany where I was like, Jesus, I can control the life and sort of bring them in and make sure they're doing well. And the satisfaction of also, I mean, I've not had it yet with the ball pythons, but from the corns of giving over a snake to someone that maybe their first pet or something like I think Paul described it perfectly in the Rude Dog Reptiles interview he's just done. I don't know if you've seen it, but he said the satisfaction you get from someone having a snake in their collection that is their pride and joy and you bred it is probably untouched. And I know when I sort of handed out snows, which, it's not the biggest sort of genes involved in corns, but it was satisfying to know that the people that got the snows or the aneries or whatever, that was like the standout snake because it was just a morph. But no, it's very similar there. I mean, I had the geckos. I went down the leopard gecko and viper gecko route. I don't know if you've seen the viper geckos. They're tiny little things, really cool.
Yeah.
I love the viper geckos, but no, I moved away from them to focus on this because I knew that pied was what it was for me. I mean, I should really get a slogan, pied is my passion. I say it so many times every day. It's just like people say to me, what do I love? I say I love pied. I don't say I love snakes. People know that, but I love the pied. But no, that's fair enough. I mean, going on, how's your season going? It's still fairly early on. And I think, because we're recording this on the 11th for anyone that's wondering, but you said in your live yesterday that you haven't had a clutch yet. So sort of a little bit behind, but at the same time, as Karl Nesbitt said it perfectly the other day, there's no race with anyone. There's no race to get clutches. You know what you're getting, and ultimately, whether you get them now or whether you get them in 2 months' time, it's still going to be what you want. So, but how are things going? You got the ovulations, or?
So I've had two of what I believe ovulation. I've had 3 in total, but 1 completely like reabsorbed. I know I'm going to get nothing from there. But I had my early clutch in January. I had a clutch hatch in January, which was completely.
Is that early or late?
Exactly. So that like completely threw me off because she had me impaired for a very long time because I thought she weren't gonna go. So I completely left and forgot about her. And then when the eggs were laid in November, I was like, weren't expecting that. But considering where I paid my stuff last year, I didn't get my first clutch till about June.
Right. Okay.
Well, with the June, March. Oh no, so they would have laid around now and hatched in early June. So I'm a little bit behind of what I was last year, but I've got a lot more to get done this year than I did last.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. What sort of, I mean, that's one of the things that I like talking to people about, you know, not necessarily always on camera, but underrated genes. So, for example, in my opinion, I think Calico in Pied is slightly underrated because it's not out there much yet. That's exactly why I picked up an Etchy Calico het and I want to get a breeding next year. So that would be my example. Have you got any like that in your collection, or is it all just sort of not standard stuff, but stuff that that, for example, you know, you see it more than you do other things? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so my collection's quite heavy with pinstripe. My big breeder male is pinstripe, and everything that he's produced has been 90% pin. So I really enjoy that morph. I don't think you see it enough. Although you start to see it more in Pied and Clown. It works very well in both recessive. But I've got a Calico het clown that I'm really looking forward to getting up to weight in the future. So that's one I'm looking forward to. But for me, pin and pastel is way underrated. But because pastel's been around for so long, people forget about it.
Yeah, I think you're right there in the pastel line. I totally agree with the pinstripe. I think the pinstripe is kind of similar to other long-term genes. You know, Brian Barczyk, I believe, is one that brought it into sort of the ball python hobby, and that was a long time ago, and it's sort of flown under the radar a little bit. But I do think it's picking up a little bit more yourself. You're doing a lot with it, and you know, I see pinstripe popping up here, there, and everywhere again, which really excites me. I mean, in Pied specifically, I think it's just like that. Last year I saw a load of lion pieds and things like that, which was really cool. And I think that's a lot down to Stephen Wormsley, who's done a lot with it, and sort of obviously he's put his snakes out there, and people have picked him up. But I've obviously got the Enchi Pin Yellow Belly het girl. I had the option to get an Enchi Yellow Belly het, and I chose to get the pinstripe. I just thought that would be something a little bit extra, especially in the highway. Can I get that sort of genetic stripe look to the highway? But that's fair enough. I mean, I've got to bring this up because every time I've seen your lives, and Darren's going to say the same thing, double recessives, are they the future? And I think you're going to say no here because I know that there's one double recessive which I know you're not a fan of.
So I think it'll go further than a double. Well, there's a few people now who've done it, like the triple hets. And obviously you've got the Holy Grail, and that animal is probably the headline at the moment for people who are looking at reaching certain goals. Yeah. But the whole thing with Clown Pied, which is the hit and miss subject with my topics, it's until I see maybe another couple of combos put into that where I'll say, all right, I like it. But for now, there's not enough personally for me to want to pursue that. I
mean, that's completely fair enough. I mean, I can sort of see where you're coming from with the Clown Pieds, in that maybe when everyone first got into the idea of them, there's not as much clown as everyone maybe had first hoped. It's sort of mainly the head. But obviously, you know, I'm trying to hit them this year, and if I don't hit it this year, I'll just be repeating the parent and things. I think that there is a lot more there to be done, but at the same time, I definitely think you're right with the triple hets being the future, and even the quadruple hets. I mean, the quadruple, I'm just going to call it QH. The QH that Justin Kabelka put on Facebook a couple of months ago is just unreal. I mean, what was it? Clown, Desert Ghost Pied with a couple of codons on top. Of course, had to have the codons, but it's phenomenal. And I mean, you have to look up to him. But in terms of the UK, who would you say you look up to? Because I think this is an important one for me whenever I talk to people, especially people that are coming into the hobby. I say to them, who are the people that you've seen straight away? I want to know the names that are sort of there, because obviously they're doing something right. And ultimately, you all want to strive to sort of be the best, and not to be the best, but you want to be on that level where maybe someone coming into it thinks or can trust you, because ultimately trust is what this is all about. So in terms of UK, who would you say you look up to more than, not more than others, but...
So out and out, my first person would have been Gav over the balls for you.
Yep.
Getting more into the hobby, I've had the pleasure of speaking to Paul from Urban Constrictors. I've had the pleasure of having, well, don't know if it's so much more the pleasure, but Darren from Neighbours. But some of their projects, especially over with what edX doing with the Blackhead stuff at the moment, that is a massive stepping stone. But someone that we don't really hear enough, which I'm very lucky for, as he lives around the corner, is PM Royals, Phil Miller.
PM Royals, yeah. He's been in this a while, hasn't he? I think.
Yeah, he's been in it a while, but he's not so much. He'll post a few bits on social media, like some of the snakes. But when you've got the pleasure of going around to his place and seeing his setups and the animals that he's got, the animals he's produced, like his quality is next to none.
Yeah, I definitely agree again there in that going round somewhere is completely different to social media, because it sounds horrible, but we're all focused on our own projects. I know everything that's going on there, but I can't tell you everything that's going on with you or with Darren and Eric. Or, you just can't physically keep up because they're not in your mind as much as your own. So you can lose track of, oh yeah, I saw that on social media. And then when you go there and you can literally pull open any tub with him, asking permission, things like that. But you can literally see it all and see it come into fruition. And I think that is where everyone gets that excitement of when you talk to people. Because it's more than just reading it yourself. Because when you read something, you can interpret it any way that you want. So it's kind of hard to get the excitement through social media just from words, in my opinion. I mean, I think that's why YouTube's so good, because you can see passion coming through. Because ultimately you're putting yourself out there for someone to see. Which, when's your next video? I mean, I'll ask for everyone. I was watching you, and it was nice, because it was like someone else getting out there. You're confident in your product, confident, and you're excited about your own projects. And then it's just, where's Karl gone?
I tried to edit, and it was just like, I'm getting stressed. But that's why I created the lives, so that it's not just me talking on camera. I've got someone else to speak to me. It's more. It's a live chat. I've got people commenting, asking questions, rather than me just rolling off the tongue. And when one person's talking for a long period of time, you can kind of, your mind can sway and you can not be interested in that video. So I think it's a lot better if there's two people on a live and the conversation's flowing back and forward.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I mean, obviously I do a lot of the talking to the camera myself, just because I've got, that is the animals here. So if I was to show every animal every week, it would get very boring, very quick and stale. So I do it where I can try and implement one snake per video or something like that to try and keep it fresh. So you haven't seen the banana het in a long time, for example. I think that's the perfect way of doing it. But then again, you do have that risk of waffling and people sort of going, oh yeah, this guy is just kind of boring me now. So it's a fine line, I must admit. But swiftly moving on, I want to talk about the market. And in terms of how do you think it's going, especially coming into this year with COVID and everything that's going on, how do you think the market's going to hold up this year?
I've never been so busy.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I think as well, to be fair.
Which I think is a weird thing, because a lot of people have unfortunately lost jobs. So you would expect a bit of a decrease in interest, but from my first clutch last year, I still had 2 snakes left over from that clutch, and I put a post up just to say I can't believe these are still available. But I don't mind, because the female's 2 gene, the male's 3 gene. They will get used somewhere. If not, I'm sure they'll be kept here as pets. But within 2 days, the female's now sold, and I've got inquiries over the male. So
I mean, I have no experience with it, obviously, because I've not sold anything this year, sort of thing. But to me, from a personal perspective, I find myself on Morphmarket every day, which is not the smartest decision. I'm sure you can agree. And then I think, combined with the fact that people are bored, and what do you do when you're bored? You spend money. I hate to say it, and I'm working in the retail environment I work in and things like that. I can see it in terms of chocolate. I'm not going to say anything about competitors or anything, but chocolate's doing well, surprisingly, because people are buying it because they're bored and they want that comfort. And snakes are kind of the same. They're not chocolate, it's different, but it's the same. And I mean, it's interesting. I'll put it that way. But in terms of how the market goes on throughout the year, I'm not sure, because obviously we've had this weird patch. So does it affect the rest of the year? But I don't know. And it is a weird year. Morphmarket is a funny one, though, isn't it? I mean, I'm on there every morning, and I really shouldn't be on there. I always call it the Amazon of the snake world, because you can just search. If you're looking on Amazon for a headphone, you can just search headphones. You're looking on Morphmarket for a banana, you just search banana, everything's up. It's a minefield. I don't know about you. Are you on there most days as well, or is that just me?
Well, I unfortunately get daily notifications of what's just been uploaded.
Well, yeah, but that's your own fault. You've got notifications on, surely, or is that people messaging you like, "Karl, look at this"?
Both.
Yeah, yeah.
Both, unfortunately, but yeah.
You say unfortunately, but yeah, it's a weird one because you don't really want to keep looking and keep teasing yourself or something. But then there's always that part of you, and I don't care if anyone says, "Oh no, that's not me." Everyone has this little part of them that's like, "I don't want to miss a bargain," right? I don't care if you say you don't. Everyone has it, and I mean, I've found some of my best animals on there. But in terms of the morph market, I'll ask you because I think my opinion differs to people about it. But what is your opinions on morph market in terms of how it's used and is it used to its maximum sort of potential?
No, there's no website out there that's used to its maximum potential. Not a chance. There could be a lot of things changed to it. Like the drop down box regarding on stores and stuff, that's easy enough to find. But then you could, like, I don't know if anyone's found like a way of doing it, but you should be able to just search by the store.
Yeah.
On the drop down rather than having to continue drag down.
You can search by store, but it's a little bit of a mission to get there. I don't know if you've seen.
Yeah.
You can obviously go to the stores and find it that way, but
That's
no, I mean, I personally think that morph market is a little bit underrated. I think a lot of people still don't go on there. I don't know how to describe it. A lot of people still use Instagram, Facebook, and different websites to sell snakes and look for snakes. And if everyone was to go on morph market, now I know this is unrealistic, if everyone would go on morph market, I think the market would be much better. I think it would thrive because I don't think you'd have as much undercutting. Because if you're on morph market and you've got 2 cinnamon pies for £500, just giving examples here, right? Is you can see them next to each other, right? Whereas if you see one for 500 on morph market and 400 on Facebook, 9 out of 10 people are just going to go for the cheap one no matter what. So if that was all on one platform, I think it would thrive better, and I think the prices wouldn't suffer so much. But that's just my opinion on it. I mean, as I said, I don't know if you want to finish up on anything on that, but it's just
with morph market. My only issue is the one picture.
All right.
So if anyone's got any inquiries over my animals, I like to send them pictures from the day they were out their egg, the first sheds, the first feeds, and then like just little pictures that I've took along the way until they sell.
Yep.
So I'm having to then go off morph market to either get them over to my Facebook or to my personal message to get on WhatsApp to send them over loads of images rather than being able to upload like 2 or 3. I know you can probably pay a fee, but
I'm not sure. I've not looked into that one much, to be fair. I've not sold much, so
I use Recessives for all me.
Yeah, I use Recessives as well.
I could use. I think it's like €215 for the full thing, and it's like I'll just pay the £13 for the app, and I'll just keep
incredible lifetime price as well. I'm just going to put that.
Yeah,
out there. Like that's insane. That is insane. I think is that Jesper's company as well? It is, isn't it? It's from
It's all LP. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of LP. I mean, I don't know if you could guess. Ignoring this rack, I give this rack a lot of stick, but just because it stands out, it's a bloody good rack. I must admit. I mean, homemade racks are where it all began for everyone, I suppose.
I don't like any LP.
You don't like LP? Why don't I invite you on? Well, you won't know what I've got planned for this year then. I mean, I've not revealed it to anyone, and it's nothing's uncertain, but I've been speaking to Jesper about the potential of selling everything here. Huh? So selling everything here and going to the Freedom Breeder tubs. A few people have asked me why and said, you've built up this foundation, why now burn it to the ground sort of thing. Completely understand that. And I mean, what's your take on it? If you was to sort of give your take, and be honest, because I'm still weighing it up. So, do you think it's a bad idea or a good idea? I'll give you my reasons why after, and you can then decide.
So the tubs are personal preference. The tubs are better. A, because they've got the built-in water bowl, and B, because they're not completely see-through. Gives the snakes a little bit more privacy. I know when I'm moving now, me new room, that whole room is completely blacked out. And I'm starting to see better sheds, better feeding responses, better responses in regards to breeding as well. So because they are in darkness for X amount of hours, they are reacting a hell of a lot better than being in my big, bright bedroom.
Yep. That's pretty much, you've nailed it there. I mean, the 3 reasons for me going with it is 1, the dark tubs. So for example, I mean, as I said, I've always been transparent. I bred 9 females this year. say 8, not including the girl that I pulled out of the season early because she went off food unexpectedly. So say 8, 50% go rate, I'm saying, unless anything surprised me. I think if I had the dark tubs, I think I could get that up because you've got to remember, I'm a teenager, like effectively by age, 19. So I spend literally most of my time in here when I'm not at work, and I'm a bloody big heat source. So every time I walk past those rubs, the snakes, they're probably, I mean, one of them is a big 3-kilo girl, 16 years old, and every time I come past, she shoots back. So it can be, I suppose, stressful for them. So I think I'll have better with breeding and also feeding. The water bowls is a big thing for me. It's a massive thing for me because I'm from Cambridge, and I don't know if anyone watching this from Cambridge. It's incredibly hard water where I live, and I have to use, you can't see it up there, but Alan Arif recommended an OUST product. I don't know how you say it, OUST. And I have to use that. Yeah, I have to use that once a month, if not more, because the water just goes so hard and the bowls get so dirty like that. So the daily cups would be a good idea for me, but also this is all I've got to work with. As I've mentioned on a couple of weeks ago, I did a video. I can get 30 female tubs where I've got 20 there. And when you've got this space, 10 tubs is huge. So the idea of having 10 extra tubs, not because I want to buy anything, but because I know that I've got stuff in there right now. I mean, that's a 7-egg clutch that's probably not going to be going anywhere. And so that's why I need the extra tubs. But I mean, I don't know. We shall see. But that's why I'm thinking of switching over to them. But I've actually got a clutch due tomorrow when I'm filming this. I mean, I could show her, but I don't want to disturb her too much. But when's your next drop?
If I'm right now, I always say I hate timing things because I feel like I jinx myself all the time. But if I'm right, I'm looking around 4 or 5 days, and that's
not too bad.
That's the hepide to a hepide. So hopefully,
nice. Hepides then. That's all right. I thought you were going to say clown or something boring.
No,
it's not boring. It's not boring.
I've got no clown going this year. I'm going to be clown heavy next year.
Yeah, I'll be pied heavy next year. I mean, it's just guess that. No, I know. Is there anything you want to see, Karl? I know that when I do my lives, people come in there and they want to see snakes or anything. They never really get the opportunity to ask me. So is there anything you want to see?
Yeah, you know what boy I want to see.
Which one's that? Banana gravel?
Yeah.
All right. I was just thinking. I think I put him with a female, and I was trying to remember where I put him there, but he's not doing anything right now. But I love this animal. I must admit, I've got more of a personal attachment. I think he's going to shed, but got a little bit of a personal attachment to him because of what he done for me this year. I mean, the story's there. It still blows me away. But the sad part is he might be surplus in about 2 months' time.
Yeah,
that's the sad part, because obviously if I hatch a 66% het that's banana highway or something like that, it's going to be ultimately better for me to try and breed that than this. But I mean, for a year, I can't really complain about what he's done in sort of one season for me.
So that was going to be my question to you. If you were to hit your highway pied combo, would you keep him for maybe another year and wait for the highway to get up to weight?
What's that? This boy?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure is the short-term answer to it, because obviously with my limited space, I can't just keep males and males and males. But at the same time, there is that risk of, does the male not breed for me in the first year? I've got one here that's theoretically a breeder and is not breeding. So I think the answer is probably yes. I will keep him for a little bit. Don't hold me to that. I might sell him, but I think
you can send beer and I'll hold him for a bit for you. Like that's no issue.
You say that. I've not done any dual projects. I'm not even considering it personally. I don't know if do you do any dual projects or
not yet?
No.
I'm waiting for me Sterling Clown to arrive and then do some work for me here, and then maybe see if anyone's got some nice combo female clowns to potentially do a joint project on that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I don't think much cinnamon and clown.
Yeah, I'm not sure on whether they're good or bad ideas. Obviously, they are successful and things like that. But to me, personally, especially with it being my first couple of seasons, my first year, I want to try and hit my own goals before I start moving the field and trying to help people with their goals and them helping move. It's definitely a weird one, but I can see this hair, man. the positives and the negatives. I braved the hair today, Karl. I'm not going to lie. I braved the hair, and I'm starting to regret it about, I really am. And also, we're filming this the day after Boris's little announcement, which I'm not going to go into because that one, just take a deep breath there. But he's announced this morning that hairdressers are barbers and hairdressers are unlikely to open until the 7th of July. And I'm there like, hang on, I've got an email saying go back to work with that.
So give it my next video, you will see me with a buzz cut. And no
I wish I'd known. It's ironic, but I wish I could have seen in the future. I would have had a haircut. I would have had a buzz cut. I've never had a buzz cut. I think I have when I was maybe like 6 and I didn't have control of it. But I would have had a buzz cut and just let it grow back a little bit so that when I went back to work, it seems kind of reasonable. But I'm not going back with a buzz cut now. So
I'm getting desperate.
I reckon I'm just going to rock up with a Red Bull top. Just stick a Nestle sticker across the top.
Sounds good.
It's crazy, isn't it? Everything that's going on in the world. As I say, I'm not getting into the politics, but I don't think the greatest decision has been made there, personally. But who knows? In terms of the snakes, I know some breeders that have actually just packed up for the year because of it, which is sad that their seasons sort of come to an end because of something that they can't control. One of my friends, good friends, can't do it because it's a dad and son breeding scheme. Breeding. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like
program project.
Yeah, breeding team. And because of the dad being so at risk, they cannot risk doing it and then go into a donny to sell the animals or having someone come and collect them or even a courier come and collect them. So they'd be stuck with the babies. So it's sad that the season's come to an end for them because of this. But I don't know. Seems a bit of a sad note to end it on that, doesn't it? So, I mean, just a little bit. I have to end. I think I'm just going to make it a thing. If I'm going to talk to someone, it has to end with pretty much the same question is, what are the plans for Pied at KRK Pythons?
Okay. My long-term Pied project is with the animals that I've currently got, or animals that will be looking create. I will be looking at maybe getting leopard phantom into banana female pieds.
Nice.
And then in the long run, I will be wanting to do some leopard desert ghost pieds and banana desert ghost pieds.
Yes, desert ghost pied, as you know, and everyone knows at this point, is like top there.
Yeah.
That is my secret project, by the way. Yesterday, you was like, "No, I don't believe it." That is, I'm just not revealing the code on that I'm trying.
I thought it was scaleless pied.
I want to do the scaleless pieds, but desert ghost for me is just slightly above because I'm trying to get into that project for over a year easily by this point. I came this close, but I'm not going to name the bald guy in Southampton that I nearly bought an animal from, and then it turned out to be male. I'm not
bald guy in Southampton.
I'm not going to talk about it. I was a little tear came down here that night when because I was waiting to find out what they were hatching at. He was like, "Yeah, if I've got this many females, you can have one." I was like, please. And then everything turned out to be like male with one female. I just like little tear ran down me there. I'm not going to lie, but no, little bald man. I mean, everyone can work it out. Bless his heart. I love that man.
I've bought a great thing from that bald man in the past. So
yeah, no, we're not naming him because I know he likes to stay anonymous, and so it's only fair. But he's a great breeder. Anyone that knows him knows who we're talking about will know that he is
the quality producers. Yeah.
And I'm not going to say, as I say, I don't want to reveal who it is, so I'm not going to say too much on him. But just But anyways, we ended it on pied, which is ultimately what's close to my heart.
What?
But no, that's fair enough. Thanks for coming on, Karl. Obviously, hopefully this comes out all okay. We shall see. You'll find out on Sunday when I find out.
Okay.
This is the point where I just take the clip, go, brother. It's a bit lazy.
I wish I had someone like that.
I mean, my only concern with it is how long are me and my brother going to live in the same house, and eventually it's just like messages are going to get like all mixed up and I'm going to end up having to learn it. And I'm like, please just don't make me learn it.
If he showed the software, I'm sure there'd be no issue.
I don't even know what software he uses, mate. I've got no idea. I've got no idea what he uses whatsoever. But I'm sure you guys probably know Karl. He's got a Liverpudlian accent, so you'll probably notice him. But just want to like shout yourself out a little bit and sort of say a little bit what you're doing. I mean, obviously you mentioned the lives, so.
Yeah, lives on a Sunday, 4:30. That's on Buddha Pythons on Instagram. We're on Facebook. It's KRK Pythons.
Guys, by the way, this is KRK Pythons, but it's on Buddha Pythons. Just to confuse you.
Yeah, so Buddha Pythons is me, and then you've got Miss Buddha Pythons, which is my partner. But then on Facebook, we're together, KRK Pythons, Karl and Catherine, Royal Pythons.
Yeah.
So it works. But
I got an answer for a question that I didn't even know there. I've always been baffled why it's KRK. I'm rambling. I always ramble. I've got you on and I'm still rambling. My videos end with me rambling. But no, so Instagram, Sunday afternoons, 4:30. Normally as a guest. Normally it's not me because I'm not that popular. But yeah, it's always a fun time to tune in. I do mine on a Friday night, and it's always I think I've got the best spot in because I get to do mine on a Friday night, and then I get to watch a couple of other people's over the weekend.
Yeah.
Which I love doing. I know I'm normally in the chat, but thank you very much for coming on, Karl, and hopefully you have an amazing season and sort of get some pies. That'd be cool.
You too. Hope you get that panda.
We should see in about 20 days or something like that. No worries. Thanks, Karl.
Have a good one.
So there we have it, guys. A little chat with KRK Pythons. Thank you very much, as I say, for jumping on, Karl. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that, buddy. It was great fun to just have a chat. I mean, we talk most days anyway, to be fair, so we just did it in front of the camera today. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, leave a like, leave a comment. Make sure to check out Karl in the description. Turn the notification bell on, because who knows when we'll be doing another one of these. And yeah, subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next week. Cheers, guys.